What is up, people? Matt here again. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to title this video yet. It might be a game series like Evolution or something like that. It'd be along those lines, but I should probably just get into the video, to be honest. So what is today's video going to be about? Well, it's going to be about, I'm going to go through a series about how it's evolved, or not necessarily evolved, but even de-evolved perhaps. So I'll just get straight into it. So the game series that I'm going to be using as an example is one of my favourite series, arguably of all time, Dynasty Warriors. I'm pretty well informed on the series, so I would like to say that pretty much everything I say will probably be true. Although a lot of it might be opinion based, I would like to say I do have a good grasp on the series and what's gone wrong and what hasn't gone wrong. So let's start all the way from the very beginning. Dynasty Warriors 1. I haven't played a lot of this game just because it's... Now, this is actually a one-on-one fighter. I don't know how it started, but that's how it started. It's an okay game. I played it for a bit, but it's a one-on-one fighter, and there are so many other games out there that do the one-on-one fighter better. So maybe that is why they maybe that's why they changed from a one-on-one fighter. I can't say a lot more about Dynasty Warriors 1 because I've not really played it that much, to be honest. But it started off as a one-on-one fighter. Move on to the next generation actually, and you have Dynasty Warriors 2. Now this is when the main staple of the series really started, I suppose you could say. Now it's a kind of running about on a battlefield, hacking and slashing, killing thousands of enemies, and you know, it's history from there pretty much. But with Dynasty Warriors 2 even, I mean, I don't know how many it says on the back. Choose one of 9 heroes to lead into battle. So basically there was 9 characters in that. It was an okay game. I didn't play that first. I didn't play Dynasty Warriors 1 or 2. They weren't my first introduction to the series. I picked them up later down the road. But Dynasty Warriors 2 was an okay game. Okay, it's not like it was a bad game or anything like that. I don't think they'd got it quite right yet. Although they were on the right track, but they didn't get it right that time. But it was still an okay game. I found it's a lot harder than the ones today. I don't know why that is. It could just be because I'm not used to that specific title. I don't know. But it was an okay one. So now we're going on to where it kind of really, in my opinion, started. So now we got Dynasty Warriors 3. I'll make no secrets about it. Dynasty Warriors 3 is probably my favourite one in the series, but I don't think it's the best. It's my favourite, but it's not the best. Dynasty Warriors 3 was where it really... I think with Dynasty Warriors 3, I think they've started nailing it. They nailed it straight on with this one. I don't know how many characters it says there are in this, but it doesn't say on the back of this one. Oh, 40 playable characters. So that's over 4 times the amount of characters in that one. So they made it quite a big leap from 2 to 3. I found, especially with the graphics and voice. I don't think there was voice acting in 2, but I know there's definitely the infamous voice acting in 3. 3 is, as I said, I keep repeating this, but 3 is my favourite in the series, but it's not the best in my opinion, and in most people's opinions. But 3 was definitely a massive leap. 2 to 3 was a big leap. You know, it's got to be said. So moving on from 3, you've got Dynasty Warriors 4. Now this is when I think a lot of people say 4 is the best one. I can totally see why, and I probably would say 4 is probably the best one. One of my friends think his favourite one's 4. Pretty much the general consensus is 4 is where it's at. I mean, 3 3 brand new officers for over 30. So I mean, they didn't add too many characters in 4, but they definitely improved over 3 in a lot of the areas that it needed to be done in. So I mean, fair enough. They, it's been getting better and better each one. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's been getting better each time, which is great. Now, on to 5. This is when it starts to get very split opinion, I find. A lot of people say 5 isn't as good as 4. I can see why, but at the same time, there's no way 5 got worse. I don't think. I definitely don't think 5 got worse. It probably stayed around the same. 5 did many things awkwardly, whereas with 2, 3, and 4, well, actually 2 and 3, I would probably say, you played as a separate character and they went along their own path. And then in 5, they kind of did the same thing with the legend. I don't think it went down particularly well. And then personally, I do prefer the kind of Wei Wuxu other storylines. I'm not a huge fan of doing separate ones, but I think that's probably why I went back to doing the factions in later games, but we'll get onto that in a minute. So we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pretty good. It's improved every time, except arguably from 4 to 5, but we could sit here arguing that all day, to be honest. Now is when it gets a bit divisive or controversial, to say the least. So we've gone from the 5th to the 6th generation, and now we're getting onto the 7th generation, Dynasty Warriors 6. So this is when it gets a bit rough. For starters, they decided to change people's character models. I don't think that went down very well whatsoever, especially for some of the ones I actually like. So I already had a disdain for this game straight off the bat. They kept the legend story mode. They changed characters' weapons. Took characters out the game only to re-add them later on. They didn't give every character a story mode, so some characters you could only play in free mode. On the PS2 version of 6, apparently it's nearly unplayable. I don't know, because I don't have that version, but I take them at their word, where if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. There are some things they did interestingly enough. You can break down gates, climb ladders now properly and stuff like that, so that's interesting. But overall, more bad was done with 6 than good. And I would confidently 100% say Dynasty Warriors 6 is the worst installment in the series, bar 1. Bar Dynasty Warriors 1, I mean. Not bar one of them other ones. It's 1 I'm excluding because it's not even in the same genre. But 6, I don't know what they were thinking, and it was the fact that it was the first one on the latest console at the time was just shit. So after that disaster, to say the least, we move on to Dynasty Warriors 7. Mixed bag. 7 is easily leagues better than 6, but that's not saying much whatsoever because anything could have been better than 6 at this point. I really was not happy with 6 at all. 7, okay, it was alright. Once again, they decided to change character models again, but to be credit to them, they actually added new characters in. In fact, this was the first game where they added the Jin faction. Okay, I'm a bit divisive on that. I personally don't like the Jin faction. I think they should have just added the Jin people to Wei. And I know all the Jin fanboys will be mad at me, and all the Shu and the Wu fanboys, because they'd be like, yeah, but then there'd be like 20 more characters in Wei. Well, that's just how it goes. Pretty much everybody from Wei was Jin at that point. All the people that formed the Jin faction were all from Wei. So, I mean, they should be in the Wei faction. They even took Sima Yi out of the Wei faction and put him in the Jin faction. They didn't need to do that. But whatever. 7 did improve on 6 though, so I mean, credit to them. They did worse. They bettered it. So at least it didn't get even worse. But if they had done 7 and it was worse than 6, I think the series would have just ended. It just wouldn't have gone anywhere after that. I think they would have just canned it, or something bad would have happened. But 7 was alright. So onward to 8. I actually quite like 8. They added even more characters now. They added the what if scenarios, which were quite fun. The graphics in 8 are pretty good, to be fair. I'd probably say I put 8 to 7 and 6 easily, but I still don't think they're better than the 3.4.5 era, but that's just my opinion. Yeah, I really do enjoy 8 as a game. They fell down a bit with 6, but they've gradually started to get back up with 7 and 8, which that's credit to them. Fair enough. So I've got one last one to show, which it arguably isn't one of the main series titles, but I probably would count it. So we've got Dynasty Warriors 8 Extreme Legends, the complete edition. Now, why am I adding this one? Because it says, okay, so this is in the box art. 5 new characters are added in this game, which is pretty big, especially considering it's only meant to be an expansion. 82 characters now. All content from 8 and Extreme Legends, which is why I've counted it. And yeah, I mean, I think it's a great game. To be fair, it's obviously better than 8 on its own because there's more stuff in it. But that's pretty much where it ends. I know Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires is out. I haven't actually picked it up yet. People will say it's actually not that great, which I'm a bit disappointed about. But obviously I haven't played it yet, so I can't judge it fairly until I've actually played it, because that wouldn't be fair. But yeah, the series it went up, it fell down really bad, and it's started coming up again. Are we going to get a Dynasty Warriors 9? We might do, I don't know. It could be in the works. If it is, I hope they improve even on 8. Bring back the narrator, for Christ's sake. English voices, please continue them. Other than that though, I mean, more characters probably would be nice. Make characters' stories a bit more in depth, because the problem with adding more characters each time is you've got to start splitting them off, and then you start taking time away from characters, and it gets very, very muddled very, very fast. So make sure you don't add too many, but make sure if you add enough, make sure everyone still gets an even amount of time. Don't add a character and then give them one scene in the whole game, because that's just pointless. But yeah, I mean, that was pretty much the evolution of Dynasty Warriors. As I said, who knows where it could go now. I don't have any clue if they're even going to do another one. I don't know how well the sales have been with 8 Extreme Legends. I know Empire's probably not been too great, but the spin-offs never seem to do very well over here. Main ones probably do okay, but not the spin-offs. But this was just kind of the evolution of the Dynasty Warriors series. I've been wanting to probably talk about them more in depth for quite a while now, but I haven't done it up until now. I hope this gave you a bit of an insight into the series. It's definitely one of those series you either love or hate. I personally love the series, but I know a lot of people do not like the series whatsoever. Totally fine, that's their opinion. But yeah, anyway, as always guys, thank you for watching this video, and I will definitely see you on the next one. Bye now.